Rover, Red Rover. There are worlds whose waves do not break against the bodies of children. There are worlds of wide, stagnant waters. Red Rover, send the boats of our bodies to float in those fields forever. Send wings for our arms, unspooling between each other like barricade tape. Gauze for the crime scenes of our shadows. If we are unmendable, weigh our brokenness with long sleep. Cast a spell over us like a sharp sheet. As ghosts, we float through each other like soft sheep, bleating. The Slowdown is a production of American Public Media in partnership with the Poetry Foundation.
The material discussed in this program is for information purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a recommendation for investing or as legal advice. Each person has his or her specific situation, circumstance, and objective, and should consult their own personal advisor or counsel. Thursday morning here on KSJE, and as we do every Thursday, time to check in with Jason Calcote, who is here with me from Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation to talk about the economy. Jason, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here, and no lack of news this week yet again.
No. We've got an exciting week going on.
Stuff happening, right?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. The Fed just got done meeting. They met on the 18th and the 19th. And they didn't do anything.
Okay.
No rate changes or anything like that.
That is news.
That is news. Yes. But Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, did come out and stress that they will be patient with rates. And then he also forecasted a larger miss of their 2% inflation target. So the Fed likes to keep inflation around 2%.
Right.
We're thinking it's going to be a little lower than that this year.
Even lower. Interesting. Okay.
And so usually, they'd raise their lower interest rates to affect that.
Sure.
But they're just coming out and saying that they're just going to miss their target for the year.
Okay.
Which is a real dovish stance. Pretty much as dovish as you can get without an actual rate cut.
Right. Because a lot of folks were thinking they might cut rates this time at this meeting, but they did not. So that is why it's newsworthy that they didn't do anything.
That's exactly right. And again, just to kind of define a term, dovish is a little looser, more accommodating policy to kind of stimulate the growth in the economy. Whereas the flip side of that, if the Fed is hawkish, then that's more of a tighter monetary policy and higher interest rates. So very dovish stance from them right now. No rate cuts yet, but the market is pricing in a rate cut for July.
Okay.
We're thinking 25 basis points.
Interesting.
And the rates across everywhere else, Europe and Japan have left theirs unchanged, so again, fairly low over there as well. So kind of flocking to some U.S. debt from foreign investments, but now that we're going to start cutting our rates, we'll see how that affects foreign investors in U.S. Treasuries.
Exactly. And all those terms and things, those inversion curves and things like that, is that still something that people are watching? Is it not so bad anymore?
We're watching it. This time around, the yield curve has inverted.
That's the term. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Right.
The yield curve has inverted. Usually in the past, every time that has signaled a recession, whether that's 1 month down the road or 2 years down the road.
Right.
But this time around, there's been some other factors that have kind of messed with the yield curve. There's a lot of geopolitical stuff that's going on. So not necessarily a regular inversion that we've seen in the past.
Got it. Okay.
Because of a struggling economy.
Sure.
There is a slowdown. Everybody's forecasting that the U.S. is a slowdown, a global slowdown, really.
Right.
But we'll try to probably cut these rates and see if we can get borrowing going again and get people to spend some money.
Okay, interesting. Speaking of geopolitical things going on, we had a little run-in with Iran overnight, or this week at least, right?
That's true. They've claimed that they shot down a drone, a U.S. drone in U.S. airspace, or in their airspace.
Airspace, right? The U.S. says it was international airspace, so that's the conflict there, I guess, or the disagreement. Okay?
That's exactly right. Escalating already high tensions in the area.
Sure, right.
This is the Persian Gulf. I think a third of the world's oil comes from that area.
Right.
So really high unrest there. And this is no surprise crude prices surged a little bit. We had oil move up after this happened. It closed yesterday at about $55.60 a barrel, which is about a 3.5% gain.
Okay.
Unrest is not too bad for the price of crude, but we don't want anything.
Sure. Of course, lots of folks are concerned that if it gets into more than just unrest, if it becomes an actual conflict, that that would be a problem.
That would be bad.
Perhaps.
That would be bad. And we've got more evidence that's kind of come out and pointing the finger at Iran for the recent attacks on the oil tankers in the area too.
Right, which of course they deny.
They deny, yes,
Yeah.
they deny. But so yeah, it seems like they're sort of the aggressor in the area right now, and it'll be interesting to see how that all kind of shakes up.
Definitely. Okay. Markets are responding okay.
Markets are responding okay. You know, they were really positive this week. Actually,
Right.
you know, we're
We got the Dow Jones on the screen right now.
Okay,
so
yep,
that's
yep.
year to year.
Year to year, okay. So yeah, the Dow Jones again. We're kind of right at that all-time high again, and then you know we've had a solid June. Really,
Don't-
May was kind of tough.
Right.
May we had a little bit of slide. First quarter was great for this year.
Sure, but our graph is still green.
It's still green.
So we show it's in the green year to year.
Exactly.
So, and you can see that certainly on our screen if you're watching us this morning, everybody on Facebook or YouTube. The other indexes include the S&P.
S&P again knocking on the door of the all-time high right now. Way up from where we were, or not way up, but up from where we were a year ago.
Yeah.
So and again, you can see that slide in May.
Right.
Pretty prominent, but then
And the bigger slide in December.
yeah, that was the big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you can see that if you look at the graph, you can definitely see that. And the Nasdaq is certainly a little bit different, but same kind of thing, right? Still up all across the board.
Yep,
all
up
these
all across
indexes.
the board.
So.
Everything's green. That's looking good. And you know, the interesting thing too with the markets being up is that gold has actually seen a bit of a rally too.
Ah, okay.
So yesterday, you know, it was up about 2.5%. We're at about $1,387 an ounce for gold right now. So three days ago, we were at about $1,340 an ounce. So a nice week for gold, and really the highest it's been since September of 2013.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got, you know, there's a few reasons for it. The Fed, the low rates, you know, that makes non-interest bearing assets a little more nice,
I guess,
for
right.
investors to look at.
Attractive, I suppose.
Right,
right?
attractive.
Okay.
Thank you,
Sure.
Scott. The dollar's weak, so you know nobody's really looking at U.S. dollars right now. Investors are flocking back to gold-based ETFs, where we'd seen a big runoff in that last year.
Okay.
And so yeah, pretty much we got a bullish market for gold right now.
Interesting.
So,
And an ETF is what I'm trying to...
An exchange traded fund.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I knew
no
it was an
problem.
electronic transfer.
Oh no,
or
yeah,
something, but-
sorry,
Yeah.
jargon.
That's okay, but gold has been that's what gold does, isn't it? Over the course of its history, it's kind of been that safe haven for folks,
Definitely.
and the price is fairly stable in relationship to other things. I mean, it's gone up certainly, but when you compare it to other things in the economy, it kind of stays right where it is.
It stays fairly
I
relative.
think.
Yeah, we've had a couple gold bubbles throughout, you know,
I suppose
the
that's
past few
probably
years,
true.
but nothing big.
Right.
Yeah, so
it's pretty
it's
stable and pretty reliable.
It's
I
a
guess
it's a
is why
haven
it's so
right now.
Favorite. Yeah.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jason, thanks so much.
Hey, thanks
as
for having me.
always,
Yep.
appreciate you being here. Jason Calcote, everyone, from Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation. He is with me every Thursday right here on KSJE Farmington.